Complaints against you, sir, number 1040CR892 allege counts of motor vehicle homicide by negligent operation and a state highway traffic violation.
Counsel, sir, I see.
Your Honor, I anticipate being appointed on it. I believe he was determined indigent by the probation department.
Based on
$500. Okay, we're going to appoint counsel for $500, sir. We accept the appointment of counsel in the case.
Judge Commonwealth seeking an order that the defendant not drive during the pendency of this case. I've discussed it with counsel, and I know that she's going to object, so the court would like to go to the facts of the matter.
You object to that condition?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll get it briefly about it.
Judge, on August 26th of 2009, at approximately 6:30 in the morning, the defendant was driving a Chevy Malibu, heading southbound on 495 in the right-hand lane. He was directly behind a Honda being driven by Henry O'Brien. The passenger in that car was Gregory Butler. Mr. Butler is the mother of Mr. Butler's children, and the aunt of Mr. Butler's children are present in the court today, just for the court's knowledge. At some point around 6:30 in the morning, the defendant collided with the rear of that Honda, traveling at 70 miles per hour. An accident reconstruction that was done, including data that was taken from the defendant's onboard computer of his car, showed that the defendant didn't brake at all before colliding with the rear of that Honda at 70 miles per hour. Eyewitnesses who wrote statements for the state police indicated that they observed the defendant, and he appeared to be nodding off with his head down at his chest or his head on his shoulder as he was driving the car, that there was some erratic driving, speeding up and slowing down while the defendant was operating his car, and that the Honda in front of him didn't brake or operate in any sort of erratic manner prior to being rear-ended by the defendant. When the defendant rear-ended that car in front of him, it caused the car to travel across the lanes of traffic in the southbound side of the highway, across the median strip, and enter the northbound side of the highway, perpendicular to traffic, where it was struck broadside by a minivan, causing it to spin out and end up in front of a tractor trailer, which ultimately hit it. The driver and the passenger of that car were both killed, Your Honor. Judge, with regards to the request for an order not to drive, it was the Commonwealth's understanding that the state police had filed for immediate arrest. However, it does not appear that action was taken on it. Due to the defendant's negligent driving on that day, Judge, the Commonwealth would be requesting an order that he not drive, just out of fear for the safety of the public on the highway.
Take a look at his record. Does he have a driving history of civil driving? Does he have a driver's history?
Judge, I do have a copy of the driver's history that I'll pass up. It's
I haven't had a chance to look at the driver's history.
The request, Judge, is based upon the events in this case, not the
So it's not egregious with the driver's history.
Judge, he does. I'll show it to counsel before handing it up. He does have a driver's history. It does contain other surchargeable events, but no criminal charges and no indication of prior negligent operation. It's uncertain about that.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, as you heard, the date of this offense was August 26th of 2009. That was nearly a year ago, almost to the day. At this point, Your Honor, since that date, my client has been validly licensed in the Commonwealth. In addition, he needs his license. He has been using his license to drive. He attends community college in Manchester, New Hampshire, so he needs his license to get to school, which he can use to on a regular basis, Your Honor. In addition, he does some part-time work here and there when he can pick it up, where he'd also need his license to drive to that. I'd suggest to the court that under the bail statute, if the Commonwealth's asking for this under 58 conditions, certainly would not help his ability to appear at court to take away his license. Your Honor, as far as any sort of 58A conditions, if that's what the Commonwealth is asking for this under, the Commonwealth first acknowledged it's only under these events, Your Honor, which took place about almost exactly a year ago. My client's been driving since then with no new incidents on his record, as you can see. If the RMV had any concerns, what should have happened was his license would have been suspended for an immediate threat. The fact that it wasn't suspended as an immediate threat, I think, is significant to the court. It took the Commonwealth a year to even determine whether or not my client should be even charged with this matter. The fact that it took them a year to determine whether or not to be charged with this matter, the fact that he has been driving for the past year, Your Honor, I would indicate shows that there is no immediate danger and that he should be allowed, if the RMV seeks to take away his license, that's one thing, but as far as conditions of bail, it's been a year, Your Honor, and he's continued to have his license. While the events of August 26th are certainly tragic, I would argue that taking away his license is certainly not going to help his ability to appear back in court, and that it's not the immediate threat that the 58A statute really seeks to impose conditions to prevent.
What's his living situation?
Your Honor, he lives at home, but he has a girlfriend that he's very seriously involved with. He spends a significant amount of time at her place, as I understand it.
So his driver's history is not very good. 22-year-old it's the worst I've ever seen.
And Your Honor, my client, he acknowledges that there was some stuff back when he was younger, certainly on his record. However, the fact that his license hasn't been suspended, and he's certainly facing a very long loss of license should there be any.
No, I understand. Let me ask this. This happened a year ago. Was it just the investigation that took so long?
Judge, the investigation was concluded some time ago. The defendant, whose address with the registry is 35 Yukon Avenue, the state police were unable to serve him or with notices or with a citation at that address. From the Worcester police, we were able to get two other addresses that the defendant was known to live at or stay at. Attempted service at those two addresses as well, and were unable to do so. It wasn't until this issued as a complaint that we were able to set up an arraignment on it. So in other words, Your Honor, in February we sent him notices of our intention to release the vehicles, and if he needed to view those vehicles, that he should contact our officer of evidence. We were unable to make contact with him at any of the three addresses of record that we had. And I do have copies of certified mail receipts and the trooper who tried to hand serve him at those three addresses. In addition, Your Honor, we attempted to serve him with the citation in hand in this matter, and we're unable to do so and proceeded by mailing the citation to all three known addresses we had to him, again with no response, and no response to the clerk's office here at the court with reference to a hearing or anything of that nature. So it's been difficult contacting and locating the defendant to notify him of this event, and to be honest, Your Honor, I wasn't sure that he was going to be here today, as I had received no indication that we had ever achieved good service on it, but apparently we have achieved service on it. He's here today.
I'm no opposed to looking at his record and just the history I've been given in the case so far. What was that condition?
And I object to the record. We get a pretrial date of October 6th.
In that case, thank you. I believe you probably should give a copy of his driver's history to counsel.
I'll provide, Judge, I have, I believe, complete discovery by the counsel today. Certainly, I can reach out there.
The license on the
If he has a license on, he should surrender that to probation.